This meeting of the City of Kingston Zoning Board of Appeals will now come to order. It is 6:15. My name is Brian Cafferty. I'll be chairing these proceedings. I'll take a moment to explain how the Zoning Board of Appeals functions. The board is comprised of 5 members and 2 alternates. We have been appointed to serve the citizens of the City of Kingston. We perform this service to the best of our abilities on a volunteer, unpaid basis. The other board members are
Mary Navarro.
Donna Martin.
Don Martin. Thanks for being here, guys. There will be a period of public comment this evening after each variance request has been presented. This period is an opportunity for individuals to make a statement of opinion, not to engage in debate. Each speaker must state their name and address for the record. Speakers must be brief and to the point to allow everyone a chance to speak. Speakers must address the board as a whole, not individual members and not other speakers or audience members. A professional demeanor is expected. And with that, I would like to get a motion to accept the minutes of the May 11th meeting.
I'll move to accept.
I'll second.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All righty. First up on the agenda is a resubmission from back in February, I believe. And that would be Marianne Snyder.
Yes.
Why don't you guys come up? If you want to come up. And can you just explain, Marianne, briefly what changed, why you had to come back?
Well, yes, my surveyor looked at the map that we had approved, and he had concerns about it, saying that there was a setback and there was a distance that needed to be done. And so what we presented and what was approved, his concern was that if we took that to the planning board, that it's not right. He thinks it needed to be adjusted and go back to zoning to.
So, yeah, so my understanding is that what happened was you measured from the road edge without considering that there was
Right.
a shoulder that was owned by the town. So you hadn't,
That was in the measurement.
yeah, it was in the measurement. So when you reconfigured, obviously you ended up with a shallower lot
Yes.
than you had before. So the variance you're asking for now is incrementally a little bit bigger because you have, because you don't have as much of a depth to the lot as you once thought. Is that correct?
This is one like this.
No, we measured, it was 82 feet and we have a barn down there. So I originally asked for a variance to have a lot that was 64 wide by 80 feet deep.
That's what I just said.
Right. No. But we're not asking, and what happened was obviously the 80 feet, because of the 10-foot setback, if we had an 80-foot lot, it would infringe upon the barn, so we have to actually make the lot 10 feet smaller, not
Right.
10 feet bigger.
Right, and that's my point.
Okay.
You're asking, it's just a play on words. You're asking for a larger variance because
Yes.
you have less,
Yes, I got it.
trust me,
Yes.
well, I understand what the issue is. Does anybody have any questions? Because I don't think this really substantively changes this application all that much.
I would just like to see the survey.
Well, you have it.
Yeah, we have-
Well, we got like a snippet of part of it.
Yeah, it doesn't include both parcels.
Yeah.
But this is the lot.
Yeah, that's,
It hasn't done the survey. Yeah. He did that.
But those are the new
Yeah, Michael
dimensions.
Victoria did that and sent that to me, the surveyor did.
Those are the new dimensions. And when you look at the bulk lot area, you need 50 by 100, which is 5,000 square feet. This is like 700.
So instead of spending that money, first we get, if the ZBA agrees that he can go ahead and complete and
And do the
do the
survey
survey, then present it
to the planning board, right?
so the line would be correct.
And the only thing we need to change is the setback, right? Or is the,
It's really two variances. Yeah, we took the shorter line. Marion is asking for a relief from the allowable 25-foot setback. to
Right.
50.
To 15. That's changed. So, yeah, so instead of it being 50 by 100, which is what's required for a lot, it's gonna be 64 by 67, 27, and because the lot's 14 foot wider than is required, the actual area is not all that significant in terms of an area reduction. But the 15-foot setback from is the rear yard setback.
Yeah.
I don't see as a huge issue.
yeah,
personally.
that's against their own property.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody else? Mary, you have any questions on this?
No, I think I'm good.
Donna?
Yeah, it's pretty cut and dry. I'm good.
If nobody has any thing else, is there anybody here in the audience that wants to speak to this application? Is there anybody online?
Donna's gonna want.
Donna,
I'm
speak forever, hold your peace.
Yes.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion either to accept or deny this application.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll second.
and Mary, you seconded.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. You're good to go.
Thank you.
Where'd you go? Oh, there.
Drink some water.
I am so tired.
Thank you.
I'll be getting a letter out to you next week with the letter, so you can bring that to the plan.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Time, and we have we have Andrew Monk come on. Hey, you're Andrew?
Hi,
Hi, Andrew. All right. Yeah. And you are?
I'm Jim Fish, I'm this architect.
Hi, Jim Fish, architect from where are you?
Architecture building science, uptown.
Oh, great. Okay, so can somebody give us a little bit of an overview of what it is that you're asking for here in your application?
Alright. Okay, this is our third stop, we've hit the magic trifecta, we've already done planning, we got conditional approval, we've been to Heritage, and we got approval from them.
It's in the historic district?
Well, that's the thing about, anything that's, well, it's just in the HAC.
CRT.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's R2.
Or-
It's RT, but yeah, anytime it's an RT, we've been told you have to go to landmarks even as an advisory.
Yep.
So they advised Heritage to approve it, Heritage approved it. So we're looking for two variances. We're looking for relief from a side yard setback of 6 feet. We're looking to make it 3 feet. Andy owns the property next door at 138 Hudson, and we're putting a small house on 126, 128 Hudson. He already has 3 parking spaces in front of his house, and they're on this, a bit of a retaining wall. And so we'd like to place the second house, which is on his neighboring property, on that wall. We're going to keep the same 3 spots, and that just happens to be 3 feet off the line. So instead of centering the house, we thought we would place it to 3 feet, keep the parking, and then ask for relief from the 2-spot parking variance as well. So there are 4 spots total for 2 houses. So those are the 2 variances, the 3-foot southwest side and the 1 parking spot variance.
All right, so my understanding is that one of the reasons you're scooching the house over is because of this grade drop off?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well,
That's what I'm
Hudson
Planning
is
contingency.
just this gigantic hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're seeking relief for one of the parking spots on the new proposed house parcel, right? And because you have the three existing spots on the existing home? Okay. So what happens if the existing home is sold?
That's a good question. If you look at this, the property line, there is an invisible property line between the 2 lots, but it's actually just one big side yard. So
Right.
this will function as a second home, but I guess I'm not intending to sell them separately, but I assume that doesn't matter for these proceedings.
Right.
These are both single family homes or?
I mean, I
They're both 2.
don't see it as a big issue, but
Yeah, neither do I. I mean.
I'm
if you
just,
wanted
it
to,
begs the question, when you say, well, got parking on over here, for now, you have parking over there, once that property gets sold. And then that house in question, if this gets sold, this ends up with just 1 parking space. So that's the only, but, can you live with 1 parking space? Yes, and there is no on-street parking on Hudson, right?
I mean, people
It's
on
park,
the other side of the street, right?
people park on both sides of the street.
People park on both, they usually park on the house side, not
Mostly
the
on
other
that
side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
because
house
if you
happens to
try
be
to,
on that
if you
other
try
side.
to park on the other side, you can't get, you're gonna fall down the embankment.
Well, yeah, but this is the embankment side of the street.
What is?
This is on the Abeal Street side of Hudson Street.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
There's a hill.
I was
There's a big
just-
swale.
I made an
You can call
assumption
it the
because
swale.
I made an assumption it was on the uphill side.
No.
Yeah, it's on the downhill side. Okay, so yeah, people would park likely across the street would be the safest place to park.
Right now, they've been parking, like when people visit, they park and the other spaces are full, they park along like the side of the house. There's a fence now, which would then turn into a proposed front yard. So they just park up alongside the fence. It is actually completely off the street. With like 1 tire in the gutter.
Right.
Exactly.
Where's the front setback?
And that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't park.
okay, never mind.
Now, yeah, that was another question I had. So, proposed front yard, proposed driveway. So you're kind of parking you're not quite parking in front, you're parking on the side.
Yeah, there's a carport.
Yeah, so there's this, clarify, there's an arrow here that says park, so there will be 1 parking space on the far side of the house away from the 3 existing spaces. Is that under the deck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
It's
grading,
not really very clear at all by this drawing, so I'm just,
we're grading a retaining wall in the back.
okay.
So that's the house, the existing house?
With people parking on the road.
Yes. Yes, and then there's the uphill side, which is very unforgiving.
Yeah.
And it's just where this white fence area is, where you're proposing the new house.
Right.
Okay. All right. Mary, any questions?
No, I just, I don't know. I wish I had taken a right down to see the back of it. This goes down.
Yeah.
Drops down on Bill Street.
Yeah, that like weird kind of shallow white house that's directly behind us, right on Bill Street.
The lights on.
That like weird, like kind of really shallow brick white house is like directly behind us, right, on Bill Street?
I think that's behind your current house.
Yeah, well, it's behind one of these two, lots, maybe both of them, yeah. That, like, that's, I'm just like, you know, spatially, that's.
So this has got to be down at the bottom.
This is, it's new.
Yeah,
Right there.
second to last.
Yeah.
Donna?
Yeah, okay, so some of the things that you were saying, it was a little difficult to hear. So the proposed house that I'm looking at, this little snippet of a map, as they say, this little, not a survey. The proposed house is divided in two. Is that two separate dwellings?
No, the block on the right side of the sheet is a deck with a tarp for one.
I think she's
Is
referring.
the line in the middle, like just the peak or peak of.
Yeah, that's the ridge line. yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's the ridge line of the
Oh, the
roof.
ridge line, okay. All right, that makes sense, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I have no issues with this.
No.
And so, and this isn't gonna be subdivided, this is all owned by you, Andrew?
It is, yeah.
Okay. Do you have plans on subdividing it in the future?
I don't think so. This would hopefully serve as like an additional place for guests to stay and a studio building, but it's technically a single family home. So they, I mean, the houses are very linked. It would be difficult to sell one and not the other.
It's,
We guess
Should
just
already be subdivided, right?
it's,
Well, there's two separate lots.
there's two separate lots.
Yeah,
So
so I guess you're saying to sell them separately. Yeah.
Was that the question?
Are they two separate lots?
yeah, there are two separate lots.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
lot line right there down the middle where that on the map, you see that 3 foot
Right.
setback they want to
Okay.
go 6 to 3, that's the lot line
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, I mean, actually, you run into more problems if you try to combine them. You have,
Why would you have more problems?
because you have multiple dwelling structures on the same lot, so.
Yeah, and you have density issues.
This is an easier way to do it.
A lot line delete, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, never mind. So are there any other questions, Donna?
Yeah, how big is these lots? I don't see it on this map. I'm not seeing
Yeah,
it.
they don't put the dimensions on
They
it.
don't,
They're in the RT district.
yeah,
Oh, it's 0.9 acres. Okay, I see it.
One is 50
Got
foot
it, table.
wide, and the other one,
Yeah, one is sorry.
you got it.
One is 0.09 acres, one is 0.068 acres.
Okay,
So one is somewhere around 4,500 square feet, the other one is, the one that we're building on is 3,045 square feet.
okay.
So these
but they meet all the requirements, right? And there's, unless, or.
no, how could they?
No, that's why they're here for a variance.
How could they? That
I
doesn't,
mean, they're in the RT district. Which, if I had a.
it's 5,000 square feet, 50 by 100,
I
right?
can talk about that exactly.
It's
I mean, I didn't check
It's
it
got
yet,
that
I
footprint
assume,
where I-
I assume that
So.
you would have said that they needed another variance if they didn't meet.
Yeah, these are definitely, this is definitely a substandard lot. It's 50 by 60, and it's supposed to
So
be
the
50 by
RT,
100, right?
let's see, it has to be at least, the lot has to be at least 40 feet wide.
Okay.
There's no requirement for depth in the RT.
Well, then it meets that requirement.
Area dwelling unit. It's fine.
What is the area dwelling unit?
2,000.
Well, what's the lot size requirement?
In the
It's a
RT.
footnote for commercial buildings.
We just had 14, we went over this.
Right.
Yes, we went over it on the phone.
14 applies to commercial property. There is no,
Yeah, you can build to lot lines in
Yeah,
RTA.
in the RT, yeah.
Right, that's why there's no depth requirement, so if there's no depth requirement, there's no bulk area requirement. Okay,
Yeah,
well, that's good news. Guess my only concern is, you know, is drainage from there. It is positive drainage down to Leo, right?
That's actually
Yeah,
one of our
but-
contingencies for planning is that we have to show we have to show a drainage program, drainage, and we have to show an erosion control
Yeah,
program.
yeah,
for
yeah, I would think you would need some kind of a curtain drain or something to gather up
Yeah.
the water and shunt it into the right direction, otherwise it's gonna end up pouring down that hillside.
And we're
yeah,
doing,
but these, the variances that
That's,
they're
that's
seeking
planning.
aren't gonna adjust
That's planning.
that, or aren't gonna change that, yeah, that's.
That's planning.
right, that's why we have a lot of conditions, I think,
Yeah.
from planning that we
Yeah.
have to get through.
Okay,
But nothing,
Like we're doing.
moving it over 3 feet isn't gonna change that in any significant way, so.
Yeah.
Donna, you have any other questions?
No, that was it. Thank you.
And on
Mary,
less parking,
do you have any questions?
It's problem
Just
better.
the parking issue, the 3 parking spots are gonna be where with the main?
Yes.
And it's gonna be used as a guest house?
I mean, the guest is at some point going to be my mother who lives in Bearsville, and I just had a really hard time getting out there to shovel this winter. So,
No.
So you're gonna build mommy another house?
basically,
You're a good son.
Well, for now, you know it can't be an Airbnb.
Yeah, that's why I was
that
asking.
sounds like a nightmare to me anyway, I
Yes.
would never.
Yes, yes.
That's where I was going.
Oh, yeah.
You said yes, so yes.
Wait, wait, oh, I actually gotta see if there's anybody with pop.
I don't think there is.
Here, or online.
There's no one.
You're not here to speak on this issue, are you?
She's here, yeah,
She's the third item on the agenda.
yeah.
I know. I'm just covering all bases, because if I don't, this one will jump down my throat,
Yeah.
and corporate counsel.
Well, I mean,
Would normally jump down
Matt's
that
not
road.
here to do it, so, I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll second it.
Right, it's just those two things, right?
Yes.
Right, yeah.
so we're issuing a variance for the parking from 2 spots to 1. And the setback from 6 foot to 3. Give me a defective
I'm
pen.
sorry.
Just kidding.
Looks full,
I know, it's,
that's why it's affected in is septic.
it's side yard setback. Okay, all those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Hi.
Donna?
Hi.
How much should we owe?
How much?
Yeah, it's $150. Checking out to the city of Kingston.
Well, or Brian Cafferty.
Or split
Separate
1, 2,
checks.
3, 4 ways.
I hope
City
it
of
doesn't
Kingston.
come to that.
In the memo, please write your address and that's for the area variance.
Okay. Since my address is already on the check, should I just write area variance?
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you very much.
This, oh, is this your turn?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Center for Photography at Woodstock.
Not it looks like anymore.
No.
Well, that's what they
Thank
call
you
it.
very much.
Thank you.
I'll get the letter out to you next week.
Awesome, thank you so much, I appreciate it. Thanks.
So you're here for another sign variance, huh? A sign that no one's ever gonna see unless they drive down a dead end road, right? Okay, got it. I just wanted to make sure that was the case, but so what are the remind me of the typical dimensions for a sign, right? They're
I think 4x8, isn't it?
4x8.
Well, no, that's, yeah, temporary sign, I'm pretty sure it's 4x8, right?
I think that's right, like a sheet of plywood.
Yeah.
So, and these are temporary signs.
Let's see. This is just for temporary signage.
Right.
Yeah, not from the, is, you call it a wall sign? I don't know. Then it could be up to bigger. It's a banner, I don't know.
But the typical temporary sign, which is,
Broadway, I think is,
I think it's 4x8, right?
is it 18 square feet? I gotta check.
18,
No, not a banner sign.
that's 48 square
Another
feet,
sign.
4x8.
You have the 405-36.
I'm sorry, it's not 48, it's 36, all right. 32.
Yeah, it's in
Losing my mind,
36 sign.
can't even.
Um, No, I just kind of assumed, this is a temporary sign it's supposed to be, or we're gonna change?
Yeah, this is gonna get changed out occasionally, right? So it is, they're asking for two variances, size and a variance on, I thought it was two variances, really.
What does it say?
They're asking for an exemption to the size and the length of time they can keep it up. So that's two variances, is it not?
I mean, since you,
From the allowable square footage for the purpose of erecting a 3x12 banner, because this is the same thing she went for last time. So the verbiage is the exact same verbiage as last time.
so I guess my question is, since CPW owns this building now, why make it a temporary sign?
Because the exhibits change.
Yeah, but it's the exact same size of the same, like.
Kind of like the UPAC, if the banners change, different venues are coming to town.
Yeah, but they don't get a variance for that every single time that they need to
Exactly.
change the sign, so if it's a permanent sign, I mean.
It's not a permanent sign, it's changing. They're only allowed to have a temporary sign for 30 days.
Yeah,
They don't want to change the sign every 30 days. They want to be able to keep it up for 2 months, maybe 3 months, and then it changes. And that's what they're looking for apparently, they're not looking for a variance for the size of the sign. Is that correct?
Yeah, it says in our application.
Yeah, she is.
It's,
Well, it
it
is.
is. But if you were
It
to
does,
have, like UPAC has, a big clear plastic box that's permanently fixed on the building, that you just change out that sign every day, and that would become a permanent.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, if you
Yeah, it's
built
not
a
the same.
frame on the building that held this sign, I don't think,
Well, they're only going to get the variance once.
right?
Yeah, I mean, sure, but you know, we've got this issue of like, the length of time thing was like kind of a sticking point last time, and, I don't know, Matt's not here.
It's the same.
We approved it, it's the same.
as the other.
If it's verbatim,
So it's the same thing as on Broadway, but that's gonna be hidden.
Yeah. That's the difference.
No, I don't have a problem with the size, given the scale of the building.
yeah,
I don't have a problem with it exceeding the 30-day limit. It will leave it up to their discretion. Arguably, it shouldn't be staying up for a year because it's temporary sign. Temporary sign material does not hold up.
do we have what we
Didn't we
did
put
from last
limit
time?
on the last time? I
Exactly.
think it was 90 days.
I think we did
Yeah.
put like a 90
And it
day.
couldn't go stay.
Didn't we put like a 90-day limit on the
That's what I'm
back?
saying.
Language.
I know there was a 3-year period for the Bitcoins at the Broadway.
Yeah, because you didn't own the building, that was the
Right.
issue. Here, you own the building,
that's
so
the question I have.
it would run with the property at this point.
In that we own this building.
Yeah,
Are we allowed a variance for, does it have to be a limited amount of time? For us to
Because you're still.
change out these banners?
yeah, I mean, I kind of, I think that probably that should be fine, but I kind of want to consult with Matt.
We get somebody going, when you go.
I don't understand, I'm almost positive in the one we did, we said that, there was a limit of like, I believe 90 days.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah.
banner.
I mean, I kind of wish we had, I mean, I would be fine with doing verbatim what we did last time. If we'd apparently.
Yeah,
don't have-
I didn't bring,
Yeah, yeah.
from last year, man, I didn't bring mine.
Yeah, that's my question, not,
You did
the
it,
90 days would
with
be
Don
for
Captain.
each individual banner.
Yeah,
Yes.
Before we change it to a different design.
yeah,
But I'm asking, is there a limit on
the
how
top
far
photo.
our variance will go?
How old?
No, the variance runs with the property, you own the property, if we give you this variance, it runs with the property. If you sell the building to a new person, they have that variance to do
Like
temporary.
technically, in the old space, even though you're still there, when someone else takes over that space, they can put a sign up exactly like your sign.
For
Right,
3
until
up to
the 3 years
3
runs out. It doesn't matter who the tenant is, that space gets that variance until that time.
There is no time frame on this variance, it runs permanently.
Great, that was my big question.
The only thing we're talking about is how long do we want to allow banners to stay up because they are temporary material. And temporary materials, they decline pretty quickly because of solar degradation and all kinds of stuff like that.
I mean, I think there's something actually in, that specifically says something about, or maybe
In
that's
the side,
about temporary, like that, any temporary sign, I think once it becomes tattered, is like automatic, I bet maybe that's in the new code, that it automatically becomes,
do you envision ever needing to keep up a temporary sign for 90 days?
I'm not sure, maybe. But if that's the only way we can do it, then it's not an issue.
No one is going to be out there busting your chops on the 90th day saying, you
you know,
know, that down.
I'm gonna be watching.
It's just, it's kind of, we're just talking about a guideline here.
I mean, that's
So if it
fine.
ends up being up there for a little bit longer than that, unless somebody complains about it, it's not gonna be an issue. But we're just trying to encourage you to, to not leave these things up for too long.
Just
because-
kind of abide by what variances we give you.
Yeah.
Don't try to take advantage of
Right.
it for a year because the building sits up.
Yeah, maybe you wanna put a permanent sign up there for CPW.
Well, they want to be able to alternate these signs for shows, for different shows.
So
So,
UPAC does that all the time.
Pardon?
UPAC.
well, but UPAC has a module, they have a marquee, so it's constantly changing.
But they have these.
They also-
Banners and-
Yeah, they have banners hanging down, they do. And I don't know whether they ever got variances for them or not, but they're there and they're a standardized size, they're the same every,
Pre-existing.
maybe.
I mean, nothing temporary could technically be pre-existing.
But they are temporary because they
Because that was
go,
like that when I was big.
they go away,
It was.
they go away after.
So what I'm saying, anything that's temporary cannot be pre-existing non-conforming because it
was grandfathered in.
because it's temporary by nature, can't be, you know?
Right.
So, so I mean, we did have to, you know, it was prudent for us to make some statements about, that this quite specifically would not, be, adversely affect community character. Where's our checklist, just for the
Yeah.
record, right?
It's
Um,
not, it's.
I agree with you, yes,
What
I
did you
just
do,
wanna actually go through the
Anthony?
list.
Are you serious? Do you, we didn't do it for any of the others.
We did, well, but
Okay, so what do you want to, so go ahead,
If you
read the list.
remember, if you remember the last time,
Okay.
that there are other things in play that made this, specifically, and that it made it very important that we go through this list. And, which doesn't mean that I don't want to approve it, it just means that we
I'm not-
need to make this.
I'm not
statement
saying
for
you're
the
not,
record.
but,
So.
but we know that it is not, by issuing this variance, we know that it's not running afoul of any of the criteria under the area variance, but you're welcome to read.
Well, this is a different building, so, you know, even though it's.
This is a building on a dead-end road, and no one's gonna see this sign,
Yes.
but that's okay, go ahead, read them.
You know, ask Matt later why I'm doing this.
I don't need to ask,
Yeah.
okay, I
And
know
it's actually,
why.
it's on the front of it that faces across the street. It
Yeah,
doesn't really, it doesn't even face. the front.
So, yeah, I mean, you know, especially based on its limited visibility, I don't think that it would make any undesirable change to the neighborhood. Could.
It's a commercial.
Yeah, yeah. Could the benefit be sought by another way that, other than an area variance? You know, I don't think you could get even the limited visibility without a sign at least this big, and it does. This actually, it almost looks too small to me on this building, I almost want it bigger, but
Almost
it's
looks like
fine,
it's
if that's what they think is right.
Yeah.
Given the scale of the building,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah,
Is it substantial? Moderately so, but I don't think, we've been asked for much more substantial, variances in the past. Will it have an adverse effect on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood district? I don't think so. And, was it self-created? No. So, based on that, I would make a motion to approve, with the language that we approved for the other one, save for the 3-year time limit.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Are you gonna do anything with this sign out here, the one, is that a sign thing here?
Yeah, that's from, I guess, NS,
Yeah.
empty structure. Yeah, I'm not sure what our permanent sign plans.
I'm just curious.
And apparently there is an actual square footage allowed for a temporary sign. Do we know what that is?
Yeah.
There,
Just had a 4x8.
Okay, so it's 32 square feet.
Yeah,
It's 4 square foot
Yeah, it's 32 square feet in
relief
the area,
of 4 feet.
which is rectified. Well, you can have the temporary sign.
Yeah, this is barely an increase. This is 36 square feet versus 32 square feet.
Correct.
So we're approving a variance to increase the size of the temporary signage from 32 to 36 square feet and increase the time period from 30 days to 90 days for the sign to be up.
You're only planning on putting up one sign, I think last time there was two, right? One on each side of the building?
Yeah.
This is only one sign?
Just the one.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're writing the right thing on there.
I'm relieved. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good one here. Me too.
These are two from last meeting. Because I forgot to bring the voting sheets from last meeting. So those are the two for the brewery on Jansen and the brewery. I don't know who made the motion and seconded, that's the problem.
I have it. I
You have
think
it, so here you go.
I have it written down. So
I did not because of the, I had to pass out because of the air quality yesterday.
So we have to stop.
Well, we have to close.
Donna, how you doing?
We'll close the
I'll make a-
meeting first.
Huh?
Motion
Close the
to
meeting first.
adjourn.
Oh.
I don't have, I don't have who made the first and the second.
Can we close the meeting first?
Do
Oh, we have to
do
even
this as
stop
part of the meeting, or
recording.
can we just do this as housekeeping at our?
Housekeeping afterwards.
Okay, all right, so, wait, before you stop recording, I made a motion, do somebody second,
For what?
closing, adjourn,
Oh, I'll second.
all right,
That's for Lorraine.
yeah, all right. It's all in favor, and then we can stop the recording.
All in favor? Aye. There we go.